The 5 stitches we'll be going over today include the French knot, the wagon wheel, also known as the rose stitch, the satin stitch, which we'll use for flower petals, middle, and leaves, the lazy daisy, and the short and long stitch in 2 different colors. If you'd like to stitch along with me, head over to my Stan.Store where you can get this exact template emailed to you for free. The link's in the description. Let's start today with the French knot. The French knot is a little bit different than the other stitches as each knot can stand alone. Bring the needle and thread up through the back of the fabric, then holding the thread taut with your free hand, wrap it around the needle twice. Next, carefully insert the needle into the fabric near the first hole and pull it through. Pulling the thread through should create a raised knot on the top side of the fabric. French knots can be made larger by increasing the number of twists around the needle. Now you'll notice that making the French knot takes a little bit of practice, mostly because you need 2 hands to make the knot, and maneuvering the hoop with the same hand at the same time can be a little cumbersome, but just keep practicing until you get the hang of it. In this template, a French knot should be made wherever there is a tiny little dot. You'll also notice that I like to add French knots in the middle of flowers for a little extra texture. Let's move on to the wagon wheel, also known as the rose stitch. I love the wagon wheel stitch because it creates the perfect rose. First, make 5 straight stitches of equal size and spacing that meet in the middle of a circle. Next, pierce the back of the fabric near the center of the circle and bring the thread all the way through. Then weave the needle and thread under and over the straight stitches. Continue weaving around the circle until each straight stitch disappears under the weave. When you're finished, insert the needle into the fabric just under the finished rose and pull the remaining thread through. Just for a little extra texture, I added a French knot in the middle of this wagon wheel stitch. Now we're going to practice the satin stitch. The satin stitch is one of the best stitches for filling in shapes. Bring the needle and thread up at the outer edge of the shape outline. Next, insert the needle at the other side of the shape and pull the thread through. Continue until the shape is completely filled in. Stitches should be the length of the shape. This will create a smooth, filled-in shape using just one color. In this template, I use the satin stitch for the orange flower petals, the middle of the orange flower, and the rose leaves, which are green. Next, we'll practice the lazy daisy stitch. The lazy daisy stitch is very similar to the chain stitch, but instead of forming a long chain, each loop stitch is stitched in a circle, forming a daisy shape. Bring the needle and thread through the bottom of the fabric, then bring the needle and the thread back through the fabric at the same hole, but leave a loop of thread on the top. Bring the needle and thread through the bottom of the fabric a stitch length away, making sure to come up through the loop. Pull the thread taut. To secure the loop, make a small stitch on the other side of the looped part. Then repeat all steps, making at least 5 lazy daisy loops to create a flower. The last stitch we'll be covering today is the short and long stitch, which is exactly what it sounds like. Similar to the satin stitch, you'll fill in the shape. However, you'll use varying stitches between short and long stitches. First, we'll fill in one part of the shape with a light pink color, and then use a darker pink with short and long stitches to fill in the rest of the shape. You'll notice here that I wasn't exactly following the template, but it's really more of a guide, so use your own discretion to fill in the shape the way that you want to. Thanks so much for following along with me today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. The next part of the Happy Rainbow Stitch Sampler tutorial will be coming out soon, and we'll be going over hand embroidery finishing techniques. Thanks again, and remember, done is better than perfect.